What's up, good people? Welcome, and welcome to the Bro Code Show. It's your boy, Bro Troy, aka Mr. YM4C, but better known as Coach TJ. Now, tonight's show is sponsored by Papa Murphy's Take and Bake Pizza. Make sure to visit your local Papa Murphy's Pizza retail store near you and load up on fresh, made-to-order, gluten-free Take and Bake pizzas, desserts, and salads. Use the mobile app for faster service and to earn additional savings. Now, for those who are new to the Bro Code Show, the Bro Code Show is a live talk show created to discuss, uncover, justify, and dismantle the issues that concern us most as brothers, as family, and as a community. And we like to give that to you raw, uncut, and real respectful. Now, our greatest desire is to embrace everyone in positive, popular conversation. So no, we're not in the business of bashing or belittling anyone, but we do believe in being comfortable with being uncomfortable. That's where understanding starts. So as grandma would say, let's chew the meat and spit out the bone. So I need some help, y'all. Housekeeping real quick now. Go to @BroCodeShow right now. That's on our Instagram page. Help us build that out. Continue to follow that page also for future conversations and to chime in on some subject matters that you might want to hear. Also, go to our YouTube page, YM4C TV. Help us build it out. We're on the road to 2,000 subscribers. We certainly need your help, and we appreciate y'all. So, fellas, what's good, man? It's been another week. Long but short week, I guess you could say. It was a lot going on this past week. Internally, externally, man, and just keeping it pushing, man. But at the end of the day, man, life is good, bro. So, Bro Smith, what's man? Talk to me.
Oh, man, it's been a good day, good week. A lot of rain, thunderstorm, a lot of lightning, but it didn't disrupt a great event where we got a chance to get back to school supplies, some food, and Word of God church out in North Rock Quarry. I will say for those watching, I put in what may amount now to the third offer on a home. You know, it's tough out there making offers because people are jumping out the gym trying to get a hold of property. So I'm hoping that this one goes through. But outside of that, man, fantasy football time. So and football season in general. So I'm on 10 right now.
I saw you, man, out there with the phone in palm, excited about fantasy football. I was like, okay, excited, man. What's up, Bro Kurt? What's good, man?
What's good, Troy, man? So Jay, did you get any? You picking up any Cowboys this year?
No. I would have picked up Dak. I came this close to picking up Dak. Okay. I just couldn't do it. I can't do it.
I feel you, man. Yeah, it has been a long week. A good week though. Troy got to finally come to the video game. Wow, man! Shout out to Caleb, man. I was wild. 23-year-old man created this space, man. I'm just wild by what I saw. So, man, kids need to be a part of this.
Yeah, man. If I could piggyback off of that, man, what Bro Kirk is speaking of. In March is an expansion of the YM4C mentoring program and really looking to spark creative mindsets and our youth in creative ways, in new creative ways, using e-game support, right? In collaboration with e-game contender sports and Carry, and using video games as a way, as a draw, and really spark seeds in understanding how these kids can get beyond just the remote control. Really dictate some of the decisions and what is in the game and use that as a career, with Epic Games coming here and we got Google, IBM, SAS, Lenovo, you name it, Red Hat. The sky's the limit. And a lot of these companies, their floor is that 6 figures that we talked about, so why not them? Why not them, man? So I'm right there with you, man. It feels good to do good, as my grandfather always said, man. What you got, Bro Kurt?
Like always, let's drop a couple of pictures on them and talk about some current events from this week.
Let's see what we got here. Boom, this is a big one.
Just reading this, Troy, made me feel good. Amanda Wilson is the owner of A and X Puzzle. She actually has her puzzles in almost 1,800 targets. And what I love about this story is it's built about representation, but she did it while having children and just looking on the shelves and saying, yo, I don't see anything that looks like us for my kids. Yeah. And so she created it. But just reading the story just lets you know that if you can find that space and fill that gap, right? You can be in target. It's possible. Love it, man. I love it.
Yeah, indeed. It's funny you say that when you talk about fighting that space. Um, the world is missing critical thinkers. So one of the things that we always press upon the young people that we serve is understanding that you are an engineer, right? Engineer is a problem solver. So finding something that you can solve a problem for, and finding and creating a solution, filling a gap, and that's how you become resourceful, valuable, strategic. So yeah, indeed, man. I think we got another one, man. What's this one about, my man? He's doing big things too, man.
The Greek Freak, he's pretty much going to own Milwaukee once you bring a championship to a smaller market like that. But I love this. It's not just about, like, he signed a supermax, so his family's good for probably generations. But why not spread out and do more, right? And so I love that, jumping into another avenue. So, when he retires, he's already set up, like a lot of players we see doing these days. So shout out to the Greek Freak.
Man, his family's good for a number of reasons, because he's got two other brothers that have rings, and one that may find himself in the league himself. So Mr. 10-second free throw, he's going to do big things out in Milwaukee.
Indeed, man.
Bigger things than he's already done, I should say.
Exactly. It's only going to continue to build. I love their mindsets. We talk about that. I think this month when we were in Chapel Hill with our Mentor Moments program and the student athletes for football, our subject of conversation was money matters. We're talking about portfolio, expanding that. Now, how can you make money work for you as a tool? And I think that's a great example. And those are the examples that will relate most to our children, because they can relate to that. Oh, man, this dude just won a championship. I want to be like that. Well, it goes beyond just basketball, because that's a power play. Right? That's a legacy move. And when we use that word, that's how we position ourselves, to set our generations up for success, man. So that's really dope, man. I think that speaks volumes. So when we're talking about basketball, man, I don't know if you guys saw this one. Talk about this one, Kurt.
Yeah. So Hansel Emmanuel, right? He went viral in 2021. He has one arm, but he is a superstar. Troy, I'm gonna be honest with you. I played with a gentleman who had one arm, and it was a difficult thing. But this young man breaks the barrier of mindset when we talk about obstacles and limitations, right? That's where what I get from this story right here is, man, this is really possible. The guy we played with, if you didn't guard him, it was buckets.
Yeah.
So just, shout out to this young man, that, I'm not stopping for any reason. So what do you guys think about this one?
Then I saw his video on YouTube, and the first thing I thought is, just force him to his left, like just make him have to go the other way. And I saw them struggle with doing just that over and over again, and the dunks that he was doing, like throwing it off the floor to himself. I'm like, this guy's ridiculously different, and his mentality is amazing. To go through what he did in the accident that caused him to have his arm amputated to save his life, that could have put him on a whole different path in life, depending on how he dealt with it. But his mental strength, as well as his physical prowess, and just the gift that he continued to build is something special to see. Something special.
Yeah, indeed. I share those same sentiments, brother. I mean, when you talk about the accident, this dude was 6. And we deal with kids with trauma all the time. We've done all kind of trainings through ACEs, through art, youth mental health. And when you really peel back the layer, this kid was 6 years old and a wall collapsed on him. And he sat there for 2 hours. So a 6-year-old laid there for 2 hours. And finally, his dad, his father, his coach, his mentor, his guardian, his savior came and got him. And to save this young life, he had to take his arm. But he didn't live in that. And I think that's a tremendous story, brother. So now, it didn't stop there, man. We talk about his prowess. We talk about his resiliency. He got a scholarship, D1 college. Mm-hmm. Right? Like, wow, So shout out to this young man. I thought that was an amazing, amazing story. And we definitely look forward to following him and hearing more about that. So, fellas, look, man, we always talk about greatness comes by way of collective effort. And tonight, it's no different. This is our third night of Coach's Corner. And this entire month, we have been speaking about how coaches make an impact on the lives of those that we serve. And tonight, we have the pleasure of wrapping up this month's Coach's Corner conversation with two coaching legends. And first, we have the head coach of Southeast Raleigh High School Bulldogs, Coach Edwin Campbell. Now, fellas, help me welcome Coach Campbell to the show. Coach, what's going on, sir? How you feeling tonight?
Get him off of mute.
There it is. I can hear you. Uh-oh.
There we go. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. How you feeling tonight?
Feeling good. Just trying to get ready for another week. Getting prepared for Friday night, another Friday night.
Indeed, man. Football season is among us, brothers. So for those that don't know, sir, who is Edwin Campbell at the court?
I'm a Southeast Raleigh guy. Born and raised in the area. Been here my whole life. I'm big on community and giving back to my community, and then working with young people to help them develop. And the best way for me to do that was football. To use that as my tool to give back to my community and the young people in it. And I'm family oriented. Like I said, my family, we're born and raised here in the area, and I'm just all about whatever I can do to make my community, the city of Raleigh, better. That's what I'm all about.
I love it, Coach. I love it. Tammy says, Coach Campbell. Shout out to Tammy Brown over at Southeast Raleigh Elementary. What up, Tammy? Tell Mama Brown I said hello too. She need to be watching. Tell Mama Brown, go ahead and log in. I appreciate y'all. So anyway, I appreciate you, Coach. Well, we also have brother and friend, my man, Coach Ken Blocker. Fellas, I appreciate you guys. Help me introduce Coach Block to the show. Block, what's going on, sir? How you feeling, man? Uh-oh, we got one. We got a mute monster. Uh-oh, come on, Coach. Say it ain't so. Hold on, I got you. There it is.
I was about to say, I didn't touch my computer. Y'all muted me. Hands up.
How you doing, Coach?
No, thank y'all for having me, man. I'm honored to be here. Like I said, I feel like I made it. I made sure I shared on my page and told my mom to watch. So, glad to be here with Positive Brothers, man.
That's what's up, man. Always good to have you, brother. So for those that don't know, man, who is Ken Blocker at the court?
A humble servant, man. I just kind of leave it at that because, football, no different than Coach Campbell, is a vessel to use to touch many different angles. It's crazy. You as a coach, and Coach Campbell, we want to coach, but you spend more time doing everything else but actually coaching. So you're a therapist, a dad, a brother, a cousin. So, we get in a role to be used in whatever way is needed for the young people that we serve.
Indeed, man. I certainly can dig that, man. So we're glad to have you, brothers, man. Let's get into this conversation. Bro Smith, what you got, man?
Man, I'm glad you said that, man. You segued it as best as I ever could, man. We've been talking about just that aspect of coaching and its impact that goes beyond just the X's and O's and the statistics on the field or on the court. We've had the chance to talk to basketball coaches, talk to flag football representatives and coaches, and now we have the honor of speaking with you fine gentlemen. What I want to really dive into before we get kind of into the meat of everything is getting your opinion on a variety of different comeback kings. I'm a sports enthusiast. I'm curious who you would say is a player who has had one of the greatest comeback stories that you could think of in sports history. I've got a few examples just to kind of get your mind running, and by no means do you have to stick with these, but we've got the GOAT. We have Michael Jordan, retired from basketball for 17 months. Dabbled in minor league baseball before he triumphantly returned to the NBA. Came back for another 4 years of basketball, 3 NBA championships, and another three-peat. We've got George Foreman. Now, George Foreman left the sport in 1977 when he lost the match to Jimmy Young, was retired for 10 years. During that time, became a born-again Christian and even an ordained minister. And though he never officially retired, he waited a decade before he came back to the ring in 1987 at the age of 38. Boxed for another 10 years with only 3 losses, and cemented himself as probably one of the best of all time, and also became the oldest heavyweight champion of all time. And last but not least, at least from these choices, we have Michael Phelps. After the 2012 Olympics, Michael Phelps stated, "I'm done. I'm finished. I'm retired. Can't do it anymore." He returned, but he came back to swimming 2 years later. Phelps was already one of the most decorated Olympians ever when he retired, but after 2 years away from a sport as demanding as swimming, the swimmer was ready to return, ended up qualifying for the 2016 Olympics and broke all sorts of records, won his 28th and final Olympic gold medal before leaving the sport for good, and is still the most decorated Olympian of all time. So I gave you 3 examples. Now, by all means, if you had someone that I didn't think about, feel free to throw them out there, but I'm curious, Coach Block, who would you say either out of this list is one of the best comeback kings of all time, or is there someone else that you might be thinking of?
Got me. There we go. See, I don't control that. That's the host controlling that. So I'm going to go with somebody who fought against who you had. And I'm going to pick Muhammad Ali. And the reason why I'm going to pick Muhammad Ali as a comeback king, because he actually got his title stripped from him. Nobody actually beat him at the time when he was on top. He had his title stripped from him due to his political stance on, or religious stance on, going to the Vietnam War. He chose not to. And not only did they strip him of his belt, they also stripped him of his license to box. And so that's his livelihood. So, and then during this time, we still have, horrible racial undertones when this happened in 1967. Mm-hmm. And so then for him to actually come back, and not only then come back and fight George Foreman, and then win the title only 7 years later, that was kind of huge. To me, that's a comeback king right there.
All right. That's a good answer. Coach Campbell, how about yourself? Who would you say?
I'm gonna go with Michael Vick. Kind of like, I love Muhammad Ali, one of my favorite athletes ever. But I'm gonna go with Michael Vick. He was at the prime of his career, similar to Ali, where he had everything stripped away, for obvious reasons. But for the way he was able to bounce back, and the way he, not only on the football side, was able to turn things around and kind of resurrect his career after being in prison. And he's also at the time not only just the football part, but it was a lot. So I'm gonna say Michael Vick.
Okay, so nobody wanted to go with the 3 I put out there. I get you. That is quite all right. That is quite all right. But no, those are good answers. Good answers. I probably would have gone Jordan myself, as a Bulls fan, but that would have been a homer pick. Kirk, who would you have picked out of that list?
I would have took Foreman just because of the 10 years, the length of time, right? I do agree with you because I'm a Jordan fan too. Being able to leave for that period and then come back and hit 3 more. In my mind, I'm believing they would have won those other 2 against Houston, but that's just me.
Yeah, and he came back a 3rd time and dropped 50 on multiple teams, but I digress.
and he did it just because. He was like, man, look, just because, hey, let me go on out here with this pigeon toe foot and go and show these boys show these boys how to throw this ball in the basket. Like, effortlessly. Now, as the list, I agree with you, Kirk. I would have went with Foreman, man. Just boxing is a different beast. And to put your body through that, man, there is nobody else you get to pass the ball to. No, I'm going to give you these lumps. And you know what I mean? Like, that's a different beast. Swimming is too. That's the ultimate sport. But I have to agree with you. I grew up in the A, Coach Campbell. So I know the Vic story very well, man. So, yeah, I part of me was thinking the same thing. Like, man, they took everything from this dude. And I don't want to get in trouble with any of our dog enthusiasts, but nonetheless, they took everything from this dude, man. So anyway, man, nonetheless, I could dig that, man. What we got next?
So,
Kurt, what you got, bro?
Yeah, man. Want to lead in, and it's kind of great because both coaches have already spoke to being so passionate about what they do. But I want to go back and I want to kind of hear why. Why? How did you know? And I'm gonna start with Coach Block. I want to know, how did you know football was supposed to be the tool that you were going to use in your life to impact the youth as you're doing? And then we're going to hear from Campbell too.
Initially, I didn't know. I started coaching football because my mom wanted to play football for the women's professional team that we have in Pittsburgh. And so my career was over in college, and I didn't know who was coaching the team. So I just literally volunteered and said, I want to do that. Then once I went and volunteered, then I found out like, oh, this is a passion. And then I got the opportunity to coach youth football. That's when I found out like, whoa, this is serious, because the kids hung on everything that we did, and it had nothing to do with the sport. So it was more, Coach, what you doing this weekend? Coach, you got kids? Coach, you got this? And so the next thing you know, I found that, oh, well, this is a carrot we can dangle to get grades right, to get behavior right in class. And then from there, it sparked. Like one of my youngest kids that I coached who now have blossomed is Miles Sanders for the Philadelphia Eagles. So when I coached him, he was a baby. That was a youth kid and maybe about 11, 12 years old. And he's one of those guys that we got the opportunity to really, feed into, and it carried over into his high school and collegiate career, and even now as a pro, man. And once you see the light go off and you realize it's not about football, man, it's intoxicating, because it's such a vessel to be able to use this tool to really change and impact lives, man.
Yeah, man, totally get it. Coach Campbell, I want to hear from you. Same question.
Mine's is, I would say it started with my father. He coached in the youth leagues in Raleigh for years, and I remember waking up on Saturday mornings, going to Lions Park to, watch his games, or after I played for him, when I moved up to the older league, I would go scout who he was going to play next week. So it started there. And then after college, kind of like Coach Blocker, I wasn't going to go into coaching. I was going to go into another field. And I had an injury, which, put me into the school system. And, I came back and came to my high school, talked with my old coach, and he was like, man, I think you would be a great football coach. Why don't you, look into getting into it? His name is Marvin Burke. And he put me on, man, and I never looked back. So, and like Coach Blocker said, you see the kids, you see that like you can use it for more than just athletics. It creates discipline, structure, and even like I was, we played a game on Friday. We lost the game on Friday, and then yesterday, one of my coaches was like, "Man, why don't you come to this book bag drive or come do this?" And honestly, I didn't feel like doing anything after the game. But I got to understand that we all got a bigger purpose. And football is what I coach football, but that's not who I am. So it's just, I love it.
Appreciate that, man. I love the word you talked about when you said discipline. I think that's one of the words that if we can teach the youth to understand how powerful it is, it's like changing. Now, we want to talk about your favorite stories. Now, Al Bundy would share all these stories on his show, either his playing days, something that he did in his playing days, or if you want, maybe a moment that you've had with one of the youth that you've served. Coach Block, let's start with you.
The Al Bundy days, because in my time, I'm one of the old guys now. I don't remember a lot of it. High school, you got to every now and again, but coaching took over a monster in my mind, to where now I got plays and students and SAT scores in the head. So my Al Bundy moment, I'm going to steal from one of my players, which is Hamilton Moore. Hamilton had all the statistics. He went to Enloe High School. He had all the statistics of a D1 prospect, and had no offers in state, and it hurt him pretty bad. And I told him, with his GPA of a 4.25 and over a 25 on the ACT, we should look into Ivy League schools. And he didn't even think it was a possibility. Neither did his family. And next thing you know, he had about 4 or 5 different offers from Ivy League schools. And before his senior year, he got the opportunity to commit to Yale. And it just boosted this kid's confidence to a different level, man. And so his his Al Bundy story that I'm stealing from him is he had 6 touchdowns in one game against Sanderson High School and over like 345, 350 yards, man. So that felt good. So his Al Bundy moment is my Al Bundy moment.
Yeah, that's dope, man. That's dope. Yeah, wow. Coach Campbell, how about you? Al Bundy or one of your students?
Mine would be I'm gonna go with Coach Block. I'm gonna go with one of the young guys that I coach. A young guy named Justin Harrington. He plays at Oklahoma right now. He plays defensive back. Justin was a kid that I coached at East Wake High School for a few years there, and he always wanted to play receiver. And, I would always tell him and some of his family members, like, I think Justin's going to be a really good defensive back. And he had to go through some tough moments. He went to a JUCO out in California, and he performed really well. But I think he needed that to mature. And now, I speak with him pretty often, and I'm just proud of him because he ended up finishing his playing career at Southeast Raleigh High School. And so I'm like Block. I'll say Justin Harrington is one of my Al Bundy moments, and hopefully we'll be able to see him this year for the Sooners.
Indeed. I appreciate that, fellas, man. Coach, they be sleeping on that JUCO, man. And sometimes you got to suck it up, right? It's a springboard. And if you use it like such, it really can propel you, man. So I certainly can dig that. If you guys are just checking in with the Bro Coach Show, we're chopping it up with Coach Edwin Campbell, head coach of the Southeast Raleigh High School Bulldogs in Raleigh, North Carolina, and the tight end coach of Shaw University Bears, Coach Ken Blocker, right here in Raleigh, North Carolina on the Bro Coach Show. So Coach's Corner conversation. So far, we've talked about purpose. We've laughed a little bit about some impactful moments, sports, and what coaching has brought to our lives. But I want to shout out the crowd real quick. Now, I asked for Mama Brown. I see you, Mama Brown. I appreciate you watching. Tell a friend to tell a friend to check into the Bro Coach. So I appreciate the Brown family, period, man. Like, the support is real, man. We love you guys. So thank you. Coach Campbell, you just recently hosted a Bulldog Bash Jamboree over at the high school. It included several local high school football programs. Talk to us more about that, man. Like, how did that come together? Why was it important to you, and how did it turn out?
It was the way it came together. Initially, we had planned to go and play a game out of state for our week 0 or our jamboree, but with all the COVID stuff that was going on, and our county kind of restricted out of state travel, and I wanted to bring something to our school. For our community to say, like, we can have these events here. So, I started getting on the phone, just calling different coaches in the area, seeing who needed a scrimmage. And I told my AD that we would be able to get 8 to 10 teams. And he, at first he didn't really believe that we would be able to do it at the last minute. Not really last minute. I started it last year when I first took the job. So it took some time, a lot of hard work putting together a jamboree. It was a lot more than I thought, referees, concessions, getting the teams on and off the field together, buses. It was a lot logistically, but I think it went well. The turnout was great. Next year, we've already started planning to do either a 2-day event or, something throw a little bit more in it, change it up a little bit because, this year weather kind of switched it up. It was too hot where we had to have some of the teams play on half of the field. But I still think it was a really well-ran event. And the teams that came, they were all good. All the coaches were good friends of mine. So I'm glad that they got a chance to come out and showcase their teams and get some work before the season started.
Good stuff. I hope this is the first of many. Not just for the young men, but for the city, man, for the culture, man, and just for football, period, as we continue to love on these kids for a little bit of peace and normal, right? So
another thing we did, all of the coaches, all of the head coaches of the programs that came were all, African-American head coaches in the jamboree. And that wasn't anything on purpose, but those were the guys who accepted the invitation, and I was glad that they did because they were, organized and their programs were ran well. So, like I said, this shows that we can run events well and organize too. So I was proud of that.
Absolutely, representation matters. Reflective representation matters. So kudos to you, Coach. Kudos to you, man. So, what's the vision and the goal for Southeast Raleigh football? What can we expect this upcoming season?
So right now we're 0-1. So building from that, we got to go 1-0 this week. I saw some things that I think my kids play hard. I don't think we'll ever not play hard. Just got to clean up a few things. Not to like take anything away from the team that we played on Friday. They got up to play us, which we probably overlooked them a little bit. So, that's good motivation for us this week. But as the season goes on, we're going to be a tough team. We're going to play hard. We're going to play physical. And I just think we got a really good football team this year. We just got to get the people in the right positions, change a few things here or there, nothing wholesale, just kind of tighten up a few screws. So I expect to see a much better team on Friday night.
Indeed. Well, we can't wait to get out there, man, and do some reviews, maybe go live, interview some of the young men, and really make it for the team, man. So, Mama Brown, I want you to know we love you too, okay? Just so you know that. Mama Brown sends love, JC, Bro Smith, and Bro Kurt. Love you, Mama Brown. Bro Smith, what you got, man?
Yeah. Coach Campbell hit on a few things. And the Jamboree, going 0-1, being blackmail. Head coaches, I couldn't help but think of one of my favorite shows right now, All American. I don't know if y'all watch. I'm not going to spoil it, but they did okay each season after going 0-1, regardless of the high school. So, but I want to talk about some other trend-setting football events. Coach Block, you recently put together an event called Carolina Clash on the Coast Senior Bowl. I think we have a short video, right, Troy? Afterwards, we want to hear a little bit more about what motivated you to make that happen and what's next.
Okay.
Come on, Steve on the key. Okay. Daydream about the money. Then woke up in it. Plenty losses in the game. Didn't have much luck in it. People energy and watch how you move. I ain't even with it. Mama tell me not to keep my two, but I do the thug. Back on his hat, he gone in the day. We know where he at, we know where he stay. For the man we attack, gun line he lay. And my bro got the gap while I rock out the stage. I'm going for seconds, I just had to say you getting me wet. Where's the day? Why did you kill him? I did it for sake. They want me forgive him, but I can't. Hop in the car, do 100 in the traffic. Ride too close, got the dump and he crash. Take a look at my life, I've been living too fast. You know me cause a nigga got cash. Got a strategy for the ops using my tag. And I pick for a body when I get the bag. My in the spot, they coolin' what's crack. The body dropping, giving me satisfaction.
Man, that looked good. Who did that?
Netflix is in the building.
So, the Carolina Senior Bowl, Clash on the Coast is what I called it, was created because when I was a head coach at Enloe, some of the guys that I had fit the quality to be considered all-stars, but I don't know if we necessarily fit the demographic, being from Southeast Raleigh. The same thing with the coaches, and so when I seen that, I figured there was a place to create an opportunity for more student athletes, not just necessarily African-American student athletes, but just student athletes in general, because, as everybody says, representation matters. So when you got kids who are doing what they're supposed to do from the Southeast Raleighs and the Enloes and the Athens Drives and all that stuff, those kids, while we look at it and say, it's just an all-star game, that's bragging rights and confidence boosters for those guys that keep them motivated. And then for the younger guys who are in the community who see those guys doing those things, it gives them something to work to. So when you say, this guy made an all-star game, to make the all-star game, you got to have at least a 2.5 GPA. You got to be eligible. You got to be able to be registered with the clearinghouse. So then now there's a list of a checklist of things these guys have to do to help put them on the pathway of college, which is the ultimate goal. So, it just like Coach Campbell, I did all that myself, which I'll never do it by myself like that again. But we had kids from the entire state of North Carolina attend the game. And one of the things about, high school football, amateur athletics, it's very political. So what we did was try to get rid of the politics and get coaches and faces that you don't normally see. And a lot of the assistants that are behind the scenes, and even coaches like Coach Campbell, who, because he's at a Southeast Raleigh school, they may not necessarily pick him, but don't realize the things that he goes through to just get to Friday. And, there's a lot of that was celebrated inside of the game. So that was the reason of creating it. And, I believe in just making sure we use football to give a checklist of things that need to be done. So you had to have letters of recommendation from teachers, but those letter of recommendations also go into your college portfolio when you're applying for school. Had to be registered for the NCAA clearinghouse. Well, you have to be registered for the NCAA clearinghouse to be able to receive a scholarship. You had to have a 2.5 GPA. Well, you have to have a 2.5 GPA to be able to receive that scholarship. So we literally were giving them the checklist of what they needed to do for college, but then we rewarded them with an all-star game.
And speaking of college, you're back at Shaw University. Why? What led you to get back to Shaw? What can we expect this upcoming season?
So I went back to Shaw just because I was kind of in limbo of what I wanted to do as coaching. And because I wanted to actually coach like Coach Campbell will tell you, the last thing this man does, as you can see behind him, he has plays up. The last thing this man gets to do is coach football. I literally missed coaching football after being a head coach for 3 years. And so being able to go on the collegiate level, I can literally just coach ball, man, and kind of relax a little bit. Not saying you don't have some of the same issues and problems, because you do as far as the players. But everything else that goes around that, you're not dealing with parents quite as much. You ain't got to worry about booster club and all those meetings and all that stuff. I can literally, like, when I get done with the bro code today, I'll just be cutting on some film and giving my assessments and handing it over to coach, and then I get the kick back. So, it feels good. And, I also respect the work and stuff that Coach Jones is doing over at Shaw University. He's been recruiting like crazy. He's recruited some of the kids at Inlow. He wants to recruit some kids at Southeast Raleigh. So he's really a Southeast Raleigh guy as far as getting some of these guys in now. So it's a perfect fit, man. I felt like I graduated with the kids.
Yeah, I'm an NC State alum. I'm waiting to see y'all on at Carter Finley one of these seasons.
So here's a blessing, though. So Carter Finley, they're inviting us over NC State for whenever we have issues with rain to use the indoor facility. So Coach Jones has been expanding his territory as far as just networking with those guys. So it's not so much a PWI versus HBCU. It's just about serving these kids, man.
Oh, that's dope. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's a shame.
I love it, man. Shout out to Coach Jones. We need you on the Bro Coach Show. I'm just going to go ahead and put that out there real quick. Let's talk about that. So really quickly, man, shout out to my man. Oh, said shout out to Coach Campbell, man. Oh, said what up? And, just to hit on that point, man, of, the impact that you guys make, Tammy wrote, we appreciate the coaches. Football changed her son's life, and the leader in him showed up, right? And oftentimes that's what's needed. To mature that baby lion and bring out that lion, to bring forth not just the passion part, but temperance too, and why it's necessary. So shout out to you guys, man, and all the things that you guys do, man. Really quickly, we definitely got to pay the bills. We want to shout out to our sponsors. Coach Campbell, you got a chance to hang out with us at our YM4C Football Academy. Something that a relationship that we established with the Southeast Raleigh YMCA. Shout out to Dexter. All the great individuals that have helped us continue to serve our youth and do it in unique ways. And this was a moment that, Richard Veneretti from Vice President of Papa Murphy's Take and Bake Pizza came through to bless our organization. And I always love this moment because, the cameraman was like, hey, show me your mean mug face. And this is what we came up with. So there's no smiles in this one, man. But, Coach, we've talked about moments in Al Bundy stories. We've talked about how these kids have that light bulb has gone off, that maturity that you've seen in them, and how they continue to grow. And there's nothing more pleasurable. There's nothing more pleasurable than watching that happen. So I'm curious for you, Coach Campbell, when you had an opportunity to serve at the YM4C Football Academy, man. Like, why was that important to you? Like, what are moments like that? What do they mean to you?
I think, when the first time when I met you and I spoke with you and you told me, what you were doing with it, like I said, I knew it was bigger than just football. Because, kids can go to any football camp any time of the year. But what you're doing is specifically, and it caters specifically to the kids in our community, and you bring people in that want to work with them, and teach them a skill. It's not like we're trying to, and Coach Blocker knows some camps are, you got kids that are trying to get scholarship offers at those camps. This is a youth camp that's for just teaching kids the basic parts of the game. And when me and you spoke, Troy, it was about, the lack of resources for our kids in Southeast Raleigh. There's no youth city league anymore. That's to me, that was huge because for one, the price of the city league, and it was reasonable. All the games were at one location every Saturday or throughout the week. So those things were, when that was taken away, and I spoke with you about the age group and just who not having a city league hurt. And you told me, why you were doing it, I was all in. So every chance I get to come out there and, see those young kids, and it's not like I'm not recruiting any of those kids, because like I said, they're, 6 to 12 years old. So it's really about just getting a chance to work with them and teach them the game, and hopefully they can fall in love with it like I did.
Yeah, indeed, man. We certainly appreciate that, man. I once heard that many hands make light work. So another one. Nonetheless, man, if you're just checking in to the Bro Coach Show, we're chopping it up with Coach Edwin Campbell, head coach of the Southeast Raleigh High School Bulldogs here in Raleigh, North Carolina, as well as tight end coach of the Shaw University Bears, Coach Ken Blocker. Kurt, what you got, man?
Yeah, we don't want to miss that we got Shaw University here. So, Coach Block, we would love to see your face, and a couple of your players, to get some community service hours and come out and be a part of the camp, man. I think the young kids would love to see that. So, definitely welcome to come anytime. But let's move into a little piece where we talk about a picture has 1,000 words. Now, we did a little searching on some social sites, and these are pictures you guys have already posted. So, no alarm. But we really want to know, we're going to pull them up, and we want to know why they were special to you. So what you got for us, Troy?
I got you, Kurt Block. Man, I saw this one, man. And, I was like, man, but I think it speaks truth to power, man. Like, the journey that you're going on, man, like, and this being your second time around, you talk about that ease, and then we talk about the wins, man. So, what was important about this one to you, man?
So academics is premium to me, man. And the reason why is because athletics, sports comes to an end. I don't care if it's sooner or later. We all play and we all end up finishing at some point in time. And so what did you get from that experience? And so when I see the guys that I coach take pride in their academics, and when I seen, we used to call him itty bitty because he was probably about 5'4" and played running back. And when I seen itty bitty with the highest GPA on the team, man, and it really meant the world to me, man. I actually got a phone call from Coach Massey before it happened, and he was yelling. He's like, "Coach Block, what you doing?" I'm like, "Coach, I'm actually asleep, man." "Well, damn, you're turning my players into to students. What's going on?" But he was proud of me because, I took pride in my unit had the highest GPA, man, as far as running backs. And it's only because, my goal was to make sure they get that diploma, you know what I mean? And they have those academic accolades moving through, because like I said, this game ends for all of us. We all want to play forever, but whether it's short or long, your athletic career comes to an end. And what do you have behind you that can help you catapult into your next season of life.
It's bigger than football, gentlemen.
Yeah.
That speaks volume, man. Right? That's truth to power. Shout out to my man Fletch. What up, Fletch? Fletch said they'll get you. You know it, Fletch. Hey, you go put it out there. We gonna find it, baby. Oh man, First Lady, how you doing? She says excellent. I look forward to speaking with you guys a little bit later on and how we can continue to serve our youth. Thank you for watching. Yeah, absolutely. I think we got another one though. I think we got another one, Kurt. Hold on. Now, this one right here was just precious, man. Talk to us about this one.
Oh man, that's the boss. I don't know. I had to come into a separate room and shut the door, and because you might hear her every now and again. But you know, it's big for me. You know, on my social media, you might see a lot of everything, but it's big for me to promote fatherhood, and show that, you know, we do, as African American men, are dads. You know, I actually have 3 daughters. I was previously married, so this is baby girl here, Yara, and she runs the show. Like, the one thing I did, and for those who are watching who are parents, understand, I made a huge mistake here. I have an 18-year-old who's in college, an 11-year-old who's in middle school, and now a 1-year-old. And I'm starting this whole process over again of potty training and all that. And they're getting younger, I'm getting older. So right now, she just runs the show, man. She runs the show.
It's funny you say that. That's exactly what happened to me. My sister's 11 and 18 years older than I am. So I am curious though. You know, All-American has a female kicker. Yeah. You know, we got done talking last week with a lady who plays on her flag football league for Carolina football. Would you hold back your daughter if she wanted to at some point play football?
Go ahead and do it. Like my mom did it. And, you know, if you want to take that opportunity, you know, please do. Like, one thing that we had at Enloe when I was the head coach, we even had a woman coach. And I know in the state of North Carolina, that's not a normal practice. She got the opportunity. Her name was Keisha Smith. She was also the head basketball coach. Head women's basketball coach. So I believe in equality and all that, man. Like, we had 2 young ladies on the team as well. So if they want to come on out and play, you know, let's see what you do. You know what I mean? And a lot of times they worked a lot harder than the guys. So, you know, if my daughter said they want to take a stab at it, man, by all means, go for it.
Understood.
I can dig it. All right now. Now, Coach Campbell, we didn't forget about you, okay? I just want you to know that I see you got quiet, you know, like you're going to sit here in the corner. Nah, we got a couple pictures for you too, player. So this one right here, man, as a coach, you know, obviously it's more than football, but who doesn't like to win? So I thought this one was dope. Talk to us about it.
Oh, man. That comes from my time at Charlotte Vance High School. And that was after a big win, regional final win. We had went over to it's a lot behind that game. We were supposed to play Myers Park High School. We were the home team, higher seed. Our field had got in pretty bad shape, and it was a big thing in CMS with inequality of, you know, certain schools having turf and certain schools not. And us being one of those inner city schools, we didn't have it. You know, so they actually moved the game from our home field to a neutral site, took our home field away. And, you know, it was us versus Myers Park. Myers Park is a little more prestigious school, a lot more history, you know, more affluent. You know, they had a lot of NFL players, kids, and big-time guys, kids on their team. And, you know, we battled a lot of adversity that game. We were down, I think, 13 or 14-0. We ended up coming back and winning the game, getting a chance to play for a state championship. And, you know, that team that we had advanced that year was a special group. And we knew, you know, as you can see, you know, they've won the last 2 in a row, and they're still ranked number 1 in the state right now. So, and last year's group was they were senior. This year's group was this senior class they have would have been my 4th year advanced. So these guys, I respect everything they're doing at Chambers High Schools now, but then it was advanced. So that's a great picture, man. It's a great night. Great to go on the road, which should have been a home game, and beat a team that nobody thought we could beat. They had a big time quarterback and everything. He's at Carolina now, so that was really exciting moment.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I could dig that. I saw one more. Talk to us about this one, Coach.
Oh man, so that's like Coach said, that's everything right there. Win, lose, draw. When I go home, they don't care what the score was. My son, he's still gonna run up to me after the game. My wife, she's still gonna be there. Actually, I met my wife at Southeast Raleigh High School. She graduated 1 year behind me. So it's Southeast Raleigh. Like I said, I'm a Southeast Raleigh guy. So met my wife there. We moved back once we had my son to raise him here in Raleigh, and both of them too. They mean everything to me. So, and like I said, one win, lose or draw, they always got my back. So going home to them is always a plus, and I gotta disconnect when I get to the house. It's hard sometimes, but being a young coach, that's one of the things that a lot of my mentors always tell me, like when you get home, focus on where your feet are. So if my feet are at the house, then that's what I'm focused on. And it can be hard because like Coach Blocker said, you got everything going on. When you're a head coach, you're trying to, worry about the grass. You're trying to worry about a pregame meal for Friday night. You're trying to talk to the booster club. You're trying to make sure kids' grades are good. Who's in lunch detention? All those things. You get a million emails Monday through Friday, and then on Friday you may get calls. Like people were calling me,
tickets
an hour before the game. We're on the field, and I'm like, so I told one of my coaches, like he takes my phone at 5:00 every Friday. Like, man, look, you got it. Don't answer. I mean, because it's just so much other stuff going on. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Well, I know we've had an opportunity to ask you all a ton of questions. We want to kick it to a segment of our show where we give you and or the audience an opportunity to ask a question of any of the individuals on the panel. We'll give them a moment or two for folks that are watching online. Post a question in the chat, please do. But other than that, I'll kind of keep it with you, Coach Campbell. What question would you have for anybody on the panel or all of us on the panel?
So the first question I want to ask Troy is, why did you select or why did you choose, I guess, this community to serve? Like what made you see the need? Like what event took place or what happened for you to say like this community needs this? And then my second question for everybody is going to be, what brought y'all all together to start the Bro Code Show?
All right, well, hey man, you wrote this thing down too, man. You said that with gumption, Coach. Like he was like, man, I've been waiting on this chance. I live in this neighborhood, so it normally I always say it doesn't affect you until it affects you, right? So until it hits home, till it gets around your porch and you start sweeping it around, then you have to put action into it. And it just so happened I solved a relationship of my son dealing with bullying in elementary school, and did that with biscuits and chicken. And that formula of positive popular conversation, team building activities, and fellowship over a meal gained legs and was birthed, and started implementing that in everything that I did. And before you know it, started getting positive feedback. And here we are. Along the way to your second question, a lot of those bricks were being built as far as relationships, just from past work relationships. And those that I needed to stay connected to, I did. And eventually the moons aligned, and that purpose-driven work started to really be intentional. And, the Bro Code itself was, well, I'll let them talk. JC, what you got, bro?
No, just to add on to the Bro Code, it was just an opportunity for us to have an outlet. At the time, a lot of things are happening in our country, and everyone's getting sent home, and so we felt the need to want to reach a a different audience, a wider audience, and get people's perspectives on, at the time, how they were dealing with some of the social unrest. But that gradually turned into different sorts of conversations and different topics and chances to really interact with influencers, athletes, politicians, and the list just keeps going on and on and on. So it's a great chance for us to really make sure that our local community can connect with some of our local stars, and we get an opportunity to make sure that their message is heard, that they like to convey.
And if I can interject, Kirk, I want you to answer this one. First Lady said, she loved the work that we do, and with the young people that we work with, what would we say is one of their biggest fears? Oh, it's on you, Kirk. Yeah, this is your chance, buddy. Let's get it.
That's a great question, and thank you for that. I think the biggest fears that I can hear from them is a couple of things. Number one is, not having a voice. I think a lot of the youth that we see have been told, what they're supposed to be doing, and some of the work that we do is literally just being consistent and supportive of them and helping them find their voice, especially as young men, young leaders, and then trying to help them with their emotional regulation. I think that as men, all the men on here can say, a lot of us were taught things as young boys that just really wasn't true about what a real man is, right? And so all three of us are very vulnerable about the things that we do as men that hurt us or that we've been through. And I think it really helps when we're in proximity with the young kids to face those fears and be able to stand up and grow into, manhood.
Indeed.
Good stuff. Well, Coach Blanca, we'll give you the opportunity to ask question to whomever.
See, y'all went so deep on me. Coach Campbell went deep.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit different. I wanted to have a little bit of fun with you guys because as coaches, we never get a chance to see or hear really what's going on. I know every time people cheer or they spit their play out of what they want to see on the field, they think we hear it, and we don't. So observing games, man, if you could give any coach any advice, what advice would you give them while you see the game? Give me what you guys see and what advice you would give a coach while he's coaching this game? Be it if it's your favorite team, high school, college, what advice would you guys give when you take all, let's get in our hat and in our shoes? What advice would you guys give?
That's a good one. So I'm going to take a stab at this from the football element. I'd like to see a coach handle the press conferences a little bit more directly, and I get it. At sometimes they have to smooth over comments because of a number of different reasons. But I would like for a coach to just be upfront. Hey, we suck today. I made quite a few mistakes. You don't normally you hear a range of different things.
Yeah.
I would love to hear a coach kind of just absorb some of the blame more times than putting their star quarterback or their athlete or other folks out there to kind of dance around it.
Yeah.
That's me though.
Kirk, what you got, bro?
Well, that's a deep question. I think remembering when you're dealing with the players that this is really maybe their everything. And I think the pressure to win is in football is right now. It's not next year. It's right now. But still understanding that the balance that some of these young men are really going through some stuff in their personal life, and football is maybe all they have. And I don't believe from listening to both of you talk that this is you, but I think a lot of coaches get caught up in the lights and the camera and the action. So that's the one thing I would go to because it's really life changing for some young people.
If I can add to that, I share those same sentiments, but Block, we've had some conversations outside of these platforms on, again, it being bigger than football. So I would just really encourage some of the conversations we had surrounding the workshops and how we can continue to pour into them, similar to what we're doing with mentor moments, and really just add value to them outside of running hills. Like we know the conditioning is needed, right? Because it's 4 quarters. It's not just a half.
Right.
but really putting meat on the bone. Like the ultimate vision for the academy is to do just that, to take them through the physical part, but also some of the conversations we had surrounding financial health, mental wellness, and really equipping them with life when, like you guys talked about, when there is no more lights, there are no more footballs, there are no cheerleaders, and you got to suck it up, buttercup, and really live this thing called life, man. But anyway, nonetheless, I think at the end of the day, you guys do a great job at that, man, and we appreciate you guys. Let's wrap this thing up, man.
So we're really coming to the end of coaching corners, and we've had some dynamic coaches, you two included. And Troy, as we think about this conversation for the month, I looked up what a coach does, and it said it's simply improve the performance of the players that they coach. And I thought about it, from X's and O's, but I think we've all aligned that it's way bigger than football, right? Can you take these skills of the work and balance and all the things and go out and be a great man in life? Because football does end. Even if you play at a pro level, some of us have seen that pros even get to a point when they're done that they have no direction, purpose in their lives. And so I think these conversations that we've had this month are so important, and not just for you coaches, but those you coach, right? So talking about the other side, which is the mindset of what it takes to not just catch that football, but actually also be able to raise a family and be a part of your community. So we really appreciate you two for coming on, and we hope to continue to have these conversations in some form to continue to serve our community. So thank you for it. Back to you, Troy.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen.
I don't know if Coach Block had something he wanted to add on.
Oh, yeah, real quick. I just wanted to real quick with the mental health part, man. That is huge for me. That is, so First and Goal is something that I do, First and Goal 365, where I deal with just the mental health part. Everybody who's watching, everybody who is involved with the Bro Code, please understand that the young people that we do help are, at the end of the day, they're children. And even the ones that are in college, and we sit back 30, 40 years old, those guys are still young men and young adolescents, still developing. The mental part of everything that they're experiencing, it's very stressful. And so what they go through, the rigor that they go through, it's something that if we could just indulge in them on things outside of football, just to give them that separation, just that little piece of mind every now and again helps it go a long way. Because if the average fan knew what these young men, especially in high school, go through Monday to Thursday just to get to the game, it would blow your mind. So, they need that support. They need that love. And when they come home to you after a game, don't chastise them. We do it enough. Love them, love up on them, and the community love up on those guys. Don't, man, y'all lost, all that. That hurts those guys, and it carries over, man.
Good stuff, man. Support, love, transparency, consistency, man. All great character traits that pour into our children and fill those gaps, as you spoke of, man. I love it, man. So we're going to wrap this thing right on up, man. So, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you here at the Bro Code Show. Tonight, we had the pleasure of speaking with Coach Edwin Campbell. He's head coach of Southeast Raleigh High School Bulldogs, and the tight end coach of South Shaw University Bears, Coach Ken Blocker, both right here in Raleigh, North Carolina. Make sure to follow the great things these gentlemen are doing. So next month, we'll have the opportunity to shift into a conversation topic called Love Me More, self-love workshop series, where we'll be chopping up with the awesome Dr. Margaret Brunson and Dr. Brittany Cofield Poole, two awesome women of power, wisdom, and leadership. Black Girl Magic will definitely be in the building all next month. So tune in next month, starting Sunday, September 12th. At 6 p.m. right here on the Bro Code Show. Now, if you already haven't done it, we got to get our last minute housekeeping things. Go to Instagram at Bro Code Show, like, share, follow for all of the conversations that are coming up, as well as snippets from past conversations, as well as go to YM4C TV on YouTube. Like, share, and continue to listen to these courageous conversations. As always, we appreciate the bros. We appreciate all those that listen. We appreciate our guests. For continuing to support us, man. We truly believe the best is yet to come. Now, we always want to leave on a positive. Tonight's no different. And tonight's quote says, a coach will impact more people in 1 year than the average person will in an entire lifetime. It's your boy, Bro Troy, a.k.a. Mr. YM4C, better known as Coach TJ, and we are the Bro Code.